Okay, so this is my chapter 2 case study, Full Speed Ahead or Proceed with Caution by Samantha Zumwalt. So, this case study, Full Speed Ahead or Proceed with Caution, discusses some of the great benefits that comes to a business using the internal corporate social networks discussed in the case study. These networks can be very helpful when used in a productive way and enforced by informed and motivated managers. Within the article, there are some great examples that show some of the benefits of using these programs. Some of these benefits include increased information flow, increased efficiency, reduction of errors, increased input, and more. So the first question was identify the management, organization, and technology factors responsible for impending adoption of internal corporate social networks. So in order for these internal social networks to be implemented, management must first understand the different social networks and how their company's needs will be satisfied with the different programs. So each company is different and each social network is different, so they need to find one that works for their needs. The company needs good leadership, so management needs to motivate the business's employees on the value that this network will bring to the company. The company has to have behavior changes, and the content of the networks must be accurate and up to date. And so all those are things that must be present for this to work. The next question was compare the experiences implementing internal social networks of the two organizations described in this case. Why were they successful? What role did management play in this process? So the first organization was the Bayer Material Sciences, and they successfully used the network they used was IBM Connections, and they used that as their social platform to collaborate, inform employees, collect feedback through polls, manage tasks, and share ideas throughout their companies. And they were successful because management set goals, learned the technology, and implemented the knowledge they gained through learning it. So their company is now more efficient with more informed employees, and they are spending less money on operating cost. The other organization that was in the case study was Carlos's Bake Shop, and they used Salesforce CRM to transform their largely paper-based business to a more efficient and less complicated system. So there was a lot of management having to, work against the initial resistance from the other employees, but the system was a success, and it eventually led to less errors, more production, and better organization. Should all companies implement internal enterprise social networks? Why or why not? So internal enterprise social networks can benefit or harm a company. There are many different internal enterprise social networks that would work well for different companies. Not every platform works for every business. But with the right management, leadership, and motivation, both with the managers and the other employees, there is a social network that could greatly impact any company in a positive way. Identify and describe the capabilities of enterprise social networking software. Describe how a firm could use each of these capabilities. So it adds organization, sorting of functional information necessary for production, increases information flow throughout a business, and it's a faster way to release information to a large specified group, and it allows for more feedback through things like polls and surveys. Describe the systems used by various management groups within the firm in terms of the information they use, their outputs, and groups served. So these companies use the networks to share, store, and receive information. This makes organization of information easier for the business to manage and keep up with. This also makes it easier for employees to communicate among each other and with their bosses. I did some further research and some updates on the topic. I read a article called Understanding the Benefits of Internal Social Networks, and they just said that some of the benefits of these networks include improved communication, improved collaboration, transparency, sharing ideas, finding internal expertise, development of relationships, and increased productivity. So it just touched base on some of the same benefits that were covered in the case study. And the other article I read was Using Social Network to Solve Real Business Problems. And they talk about ways to use networks to unite people in the company. And it says, encourage employees to share posts related to things they are interested in, photos of their kids if they would like, and anything else that would help employees know more about who they are out of the office. This is what will help break through some of the turf wars. And the turf wars they were talking about were, it's just some, you know, unfriendly relationships in the workplace, and it's just a way to like unite the employees more. But a thing I was wondering about that article was another thing I read was that a con of these social networks was it can cause distraction. So I was just wondering if there's like a fine line of um, if it's a distraction or if it's uniting the employees. And so a question to consider is, would an internal corporate social network be beneficial for a small business or a young company? So if a company is just starting out, it would be very beneficial to have a set network that they will grow with. This will reduce the resistance from the current and future employees, and it will make it easier to access and organize information in the long run. And my other question kind of goes based off the information that I was looking further into, and it says, what are some disadvantages of internal corporate social networks? So like I said earlier, it can be a distraction, which could have a negative effect on production, and it could also lead to negative communication among employees. But all of these issues can be avoided or minimized with proper leadership, policies, and enforcement.